Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is Pistol Pete. I'm here with Nick Pavlina, co-founder and head of brewing operations at Humble Sea. And I'm really excited. This video is going to be a community interview about Humble Sea and about their involvement here in the community. Thank you so much for taking the time, Nick.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
So Nick, I read that you guys had started in a carport in Ben Lomond with your brewing operations. Give me a sense of what that was like in the early days.
Yeah, so it was actually my grandmother-in-law's house, cool spot in Ben Lomond, and it's actually zoned for residential agricultural, which basically means you can have a winery or a horse stable or kind of a home occupation. It was kind of a gray area whether or not you could have a brewery, but apparently you could, so we didn't know that. I was living there with my wife at the time because we were kind of bootstrapping a brewery, didn't have any money. So we got licensed to be able to actually brew and sell beer out of that spot. So we bought a tiny little 1-barrel system. It's like 30 gallons at a time. And we started brewing basically 2 kegs at a time for a whole year while we were building out this current spot.
Well, that's a really humble beginning. And I know that, success doesn't happen overnight, but how has it been sort of getting from there to here?
It's been a pretty wild ride. It was pretty rough goings for the first couple of years. Just bootstrapping the hell out of it, not having any money to get things rolling, kind of worried if we're going to make it or not. And luckily when the doors opened here, we already had kind of built a little following, so people kind of were already wanting to come in. So that definitely helped, brewing at grandma's house. And then it's just been kind of growing pretty crazy since then.
Does that have any tie-in to your name, Humble Sea?
That's questionable. The name I actually came up with home brewing like 10 years ago. I was living in Pleasure Point at the time. Born and raised in Santa Cruz County, so the ocean's always been, a close part of my life, and try to kind of be humble in everything I do, especially making beer, and wanted something that really kind of sounded cool and made people kind of think and ask questions. So I just kind of figured, if I ever have a brewery, I'm gonna name it Humble Sea. So.
Right on. I like that story. You got to stay humble to your roots, and as successful as you guys have become, it really does feel like kind of like the local place,
Yeah.
So obviously, brewing is a passion for you. Where does that come from, as far as like from a technical perspective, or from a taste perspective, from bringing something that hasn't been there? What kind of drives you to continue to brew and to continue to test new things?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think most brewers just kind of have this blend of art and science. Those are kind of always been like my kind of favorite subjects growing up, and a couple of the ones that I've been a little bit stronger in. So brewing is that perfect blend of art and science, and you pretty much can never learn everything about brewing. There's always something new to learn, so it's just this constant evolution. And even the craft beer scene just changes every year, so there's always new stuff going on. There's always stuff to learn, so it's pretty much always going to be exciting as long as you are excited for it.
The art versus science thing is really interesting, because it seems like a lot of chemistry is going on. Again, I'm a very much a lay person. Brewing is somewhat Chinese to me, but and that's not a language that I speak. But yeah, it seems like so. Where does the art form come into it?
A lot of the kind of recipe development, creating these different unique flavors, whether it's ingredients you've never used before, even just, malt, hops, and yeast, the standard beer ingredients. There's always new kind of hop varieties out there. There's always new techniques to try, different processes to add to how you make things. So there's, endless possibilities on the art side and the science side, really.
Well, I'm sure, and also, making the catchy names and the catchy labels definitely has something to do with
that's a whole other,
the marketing department.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me about your plans, your passion projects. Do you have anything in the skunk works? Like if you were, any of those creative projects that are kind of pushing the boundaries right now that you're willing to share?
I mean, my beer related, my passions have always been lagers. Lagers are a little bit more difficult to brew than ales.
Really?
They're a lot more nuanced and delicate. You can't really hide any, off flavors. You got to kind of brew them very precisely. That's always been my passion. IPAs have always been the top seller, so that's what's kind of driven our business. But it's also been funding more of the, more infrastructure towards us making lagers, which is what I really am passionate about. Business-wise, we started the business trying to be like the first philanthropic brewery, which doesn't make sense starting out because you're not making any money anyways.
It's not a lot of money to give when you don't have it.
But
right?
we've been consistently, giving to the community since the beginning and doing more and more. And we're hoping to create our own nonprofit to kind of further that. So I'm pretty excited for that to be in the works.
We're really excited to hear about where you guys are going to be taking that and look forward to hearing about it soon.
Yeah.
So obviously we're in the middle of a pandemic. We're standing here in your brewery wearing masks, still talking through the mask. What has the pandemic done for to your business, or how have you guys pivoted around that situation? And where has it left you now?
Yeah, it's a great question. Basically, when it started, we were just like everybody else, just freaked out and not knowing what the hell we're going to do. So we were obviously closed. So we were to go only. Luckily, we had a canning line ordered, and it showed up like a month into COVID. So we basically started canning 100% of our beer and created a shipping e-commerce website basically overnight.
No way.
So we were one of the first to kind of get it up and running. So our online sales just kind of skyrocketed right away because we were one of the only breweries that offered that. So that was pretty overwhelming at first, but we had a couple of months to kind of really dial it in. So that kind of, instead of us kind of thinking we might slow down production, we actually sped up a lot.
Wow, that's incredible.
Which we already kind of anticipated the production growth, so we actually stayed on track, even surpassed it. So that was interesting. And luckily now things are kind of opening back up, so we're doing more drafts, more beer and kegs, a little less cans, but still ramping up production more and more.
So you guys had the plan to continue with your increase in business as it would have normally gone, right? And then the can revolution kind of pushed you guys to go e-commerce, and then now it sounds like you're kind of getting back to the point where you can have both businesses again.
Yeah,
so that's really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, we were always thinking about like the e-commerce side, but we weren't really seriously considering like doing it. But then COVID just kind of forced us into it, which is fine. It worked out.
So tell me, Nick, I guess our last question is this whole channel is focused around Santa Cruz County, people moving to the area, people who want to find out more about it. What has brought you guys here, and what's kept you guys here? You mentioned a little bit about that you guys are locals here in Santa Cruz, you grew up here, but what's kind of kept it here?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing is we're all born and raised here. I mean, you live here, it's a pretty incredible spot, perfect blend of everything, ocean, mountains, great community. We built, a nice business here, and it's going well, so we don't really anticipate wanting to leave. So the more we grow, the more we're hoping to kind of help dive back into the community side of things and, make a great positive impact.
That's awesome. I recently read that you guys are also expanding into other regions now as well, with tap rooms and things like that. Is that true?
Yeah, we're opening a tap room in Pacifica and one in Felton, Santa Cruz Mountains.
That's awesome. Well, I'm certainly excited about the Felton one. Of course, we always come down to the west side when we're coming here, but having the Felton spot is going to be great.
Yeah.
So Nick, I'll leave you with the stage. Where can people find you? If you have anything to plug, now would be the time.
Yeah, I mean, come down to the west side to our tap room down here. We're hoping Pacifica will be open in May. we're hoping that Felton will be open kind of early summer, so definitely check those out. You can order beer online, shipped anywhere in California or Nevada.
What's that website?
Humblesea.com. And then for new releases and stuff, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Humblesea.
That's awesome, guys. So you heard it straight from Nick. We're going to put all those links down in the description below. You guys can check out humblesea.com. You can order from there. They're also going to have a tap house up in Pacifica and one in Felton coming, it sounds like, by the beginning of summer. And that's going to be really exciting. We're really excited about that. Thank you so much for taking the time, Nick.
Yeah, thanks for coming down.
If this is your first time to the channel, thank you so much for watching this video with me, Pistol Pete, and Nick, the owner of Humblesea Brewing. This was an example of a community interview video, which is one of 3 different topics that we'll cover here on this channel. We also do real estate tips to just bring you knowledge that's on your level, as well as unique home tour videos from homes throughout Santa Cruz County. So if you're interested in following along, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and definitely check out Humblesea. All their information is below. You're gonna love their beer. Talk to you soon. See you in the next one.